Welcome to World Alert Updates. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. The world watched with bated breath, eyes glued to screens across continents. As Beijing staged a grand military spectacle, the scale and precision were awe-inspiring. Under clear skies, thousands of PLA soldiers marched in perfect unison down Chang'an Avenue, their synchronized steps echoing a powerful message of discipline and unity. Tanks and missile launchers rumbled past Tiananmen Square, their imposing presence impossible to ignore, a testament to China's growing military might. Global news networks broadcast the event live, capturing the attention of millions worldwide. The message seemed obvious. China is a military power to be reckoned with, its capabilities on full display for the world to see. But beneath the surface, this was not merely a threat. It was political theater, aimed squarely at the United States, a strategic move in the global chess game. The parade was a show of capability, a warning meant to deter, not provoke, a demonstration of strength intended to maintain peace through power. Hypersonic missiles and ICBMs on display signaled a new era. American military dominance in the Pacific is no longer assured, as China asserts its influence. China was making it clear that any conflict in its region would come at a steep cost, a reminder of the stakes involved in any potential confrontation. For decades, the U.S. assumed strategic invulnerability. This parade challenged that belief, forcing a re-evaluation of military strategies. The dragon wasn't roaring, it was showing its teeth, hoping to be left in peace, a silent yet potent reminder of its readiness to defend its interests. The world saw a parade. Washington saw a calculated deterrent, a strategic message wrapped in ceremonial display. The balance of power had shifted, signaling a new chapter in international relations where the stakes are higher and the players more determined than ever. Western pundits called it aggression, but they missed the point. The headlines screamed of confrontation, and the talking heads debated the risks of escalation. But beneath the surface, something more nuanced was unfolding. This was not a challenge to war, but a display of deterrence. The show of force was carefully choreographed, not to provoke, but to warn, signaling resolve rather than intent to attack. China's leadership, haunted by a history of foreign humiliation, seeks to ensure it never happens again. Memories of occupation and division are deeply embedded in the national psyche, shaping every major security decision. A strong military is their insurance policy. It's a shield against the past repeating itself, a guarantee that China's sovereignty will not be violated again. The parade was as much for the Chinese people as for the world, a statement of sovereignty and unity. It reassured citizens at home while sending a clear message abroad. U.S. actions in the South China Sea and arms sales to Taiwan are seen in Beijing as provocations. Each maneuver is interpreted as a test of China's resolve and a challenge to its territorial claims. China's military modernization is a response, not a prelude to conquest. It's about closing the gap, ensuring that no foreign power can threaten its core interests without facing serious consequences. The goal: make U.S. intervention in the region too costly to consider. By raising the stakes, China hopes to deter any external interference in its affairs. China isn't building a global force, it's fortifying its own backyard. The focus is on defending its periphery, not projecting power across continents. Anti-access/area denial capabilities are about keeping adversaries at bay, not projecting power abroad. These systems are designed to create a buffer zone, making any approach by hostile forces perilous. The parade was an advertisement for a fortress, not a sword. It showcased defensive strength, not offensive ambition. The message: stay out of China's neighborhood. The boundaries are clear, and the consequences of crossing them are unmistakable. Deterrence, not declaration, is the strategy. China's posture is about preventing conflict, not inviting it, making sure that the cost of interference is simply too high for any adversary to bear. To understand China's mindset, look to its past. China was a crucial, often overlooked ally in World War II, fighting Japan for 8 brutal years. 20 million Chinese died, mostly civilians. Atrocities like the rape of Nanking left scars that shaped China's worldview. In Western narratives, China's sacrifice is a footnote, but in Beijing, it's foundational. This history fuels China's suspicion of foreign powers and its drive for self-reliance. The memory of fighting alone lingers, shaping national security policy. The modern PLA is the embodiment of a promise: never again will China be vulnerable. Ignoring this history distorts our understanding of China's actions today. There's a dangerous gap between China's intentions and Western perceptions. Politicians and media frame every Chinese military advance as a step toward global domination. China's 3 aircraft carriers are cast as a threat, while the U.S. operates 11. The reality: China's carriers are focused on regional defense, not global power projection. Alarmist rhetoric serves political interests but distorts public understanding. The media amplifies fear, creating a feedback loop of suspicion and escalation. China is reduced to a caricature, ignoring its real motivations and constraints. This misreading pushes both sides closer to conflict. We risk talking ourselves into a confrontation based on misunderstanding. China's military buildup is about survival of the state and the Communist Party. Beijing sees the U.S. as an existential threat to its system, fearing foreign-backed regime change. The PLA's focus is homeland defense, protecting borders, coasts, and deterring invasion. Investments target U.S. strengths like aircraft carriers, aiming to keep them at bay. Taiwan remains a core issue. Military modernization is about deterring U.S. intervention, not expansion. Securing economic lifelines, especially maritime routes, is another priority. China's navy is built to protect trade, not conquer new territories. The shield, not the sword, is being polished. It's classic great power behavior, defensive, not imperial. Pentagon war games paint a grim picture. Again and again, in simulated conflicts over Taiwan, the U.S. consistently loses. These aren't just isolated scenarios, but repeated outcomes that have alarmed military planners and policymakers alike. Each simulation reveals new vulnerabilities and highlights the immense challenges the U.S. would face in a real conflict. China's A2/AD strategy, an integrated network of missiles, air defenses, and advanced electronic warfare, would devastate U.S. bases in the region and force American aircraft carriers to operate far from the fight. These capabilities are designed specifically to keep U.S. forces at bay, making it nearly impossible to intervene quickly or decisively. Geography heavily favors China. It fights on its doorstep with short supply lines and immediate access to the battlefield, while the U.S. must project power across the vast Pacific Ocean. This distance complicates every aspect of American military operations, from logistics to rapid response. American supply lines are long, exposed, and vulnerable to attack. Meanwhile, Chinese forces are close, numerous, and can be rapidly reinforced. The logistical challenge for the U.S. is immense, and any disruption could be catastrophic in a fast-moving conflict. In many simulations, Taiwan is overrun before the U.S. can even mount an effective response. The speed and scale of a potential Chinese assault leave little time for American intervention, raising serious questions about the island's ability to hold out. This isn't simply about American weakness, but about a dramatic shift in the global balance of power. China's rapid military modernization and strategic focus have changed the equation in ways that can't be ignored. China has spent years studying U.S. tactics, learning from past conflicts, and building specific countermeasures to American strengths. Their military is now equipped and trained to exploit U.S. vulnerabilities. Advanced air defenses, powerful electronic warfare systems, and vast missile arsenals now threaten even the most sophisticated U.S. assets. No longer can American forces assume uncontested access to the skies or seas near China. The Pentagon's own analyses serve as a stark warning. The old assumptions about U.S. military dominance in the region no longer hold true. These findings have prompted urgent debates within the defense community. The U.S. can't count on technological superiority alone. While American innovation remains unmatched, China's rapid advancements have narrowed the gap, making high-tech platforms more vulnerable than ever before. The reality is sobering, and it demands a new approach, new strategies, and a willingness to adapt to a changing world. The stakes are too high for complacency. These war games aren't predictions of the future, but they are a wake-up call. A warning that the U.S. must rethink its assumptions and prepare for a far more contested environment. The era of easy dominance is over. The world has changed, and so must America's approach to defense and deterrence in the Pacific. Modern war is a contest of industrial capacity as much as military power. China is the world's manufacturing superpower, able to outproduce rivals in ships, drones, and electronics. Its shipyards launch more tonnage in a year than the entire U.S. Navy possesses. In a war of attrition, China could replace losses far faster than the U.S. China leads in drone production, electronics, and rare earths, key for modern warfare. The U.S. industrial base, hollowed out by decades of offshoring, struggles to keep up. During COVID-19, America struggled to produce basic supplies. Imagine that with missiles and jets. Pentagon reports warn the U.S. could run out of munitions in a week. China's factories could run around the clock. In a long war, industrial might could decide the outcome. The arsenal of democracy now sits in Asia. The U.S. faces a daunting challenge. The balance of production power has shifted. America is quietly turning inward. Years of foreign wars and domestic challenges are forcing a strategic reassessment. Public appetite for distant conflict is at an all-time low. The U.S. is prioritizing rebuilding its industrial base and addressing threats closer to home. The Monroe Doctrine is being reconsidered as America focuses on its own hemisphere. The logic? Why risk war in Asia when urgent issues exist at home? The unipolar moment is over. Multipolar reality demands tough choices. For many policymakers, the answer is to invest in America's future, not military primacy in East Asia. As the U.S. recalibrates, China solidifies its regional influence through economic partnerships, not conquest. The predicted grand confrontation may never come. Priorities are shifting, the world is changing, and so are its power dynamics. A U.S. China war would be catastrophic, devastating economies, risking nuclear escalation and shattering the global order. The Pentagon's own analyses suggest the U.S. would likely lose. The answer isn't confrontation but competition and coexistence. We must move beyond Cold War thinking and recognize China's rise as a reality. Understanding history, especially China's sacrifices in Wutu, is essential. The real challenge is economic and technological, not military. America should focus on innovation, alliances, and offering a compelling model to the world. Our fates are intertwined. Global challenges require cooperation. The Beijing parade was a reminder. The era of uncontested U.S. dominance is over. The only sensible path is mutual respect and strategic realism. Coexistence isn't a choice, it's a necessity.